Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, and it's time. It's Sunday night, and we are ready to kick off that live stream show. Hopefully you guys are ready for a great show. We're going to talk to you guys a little bit about the weather. We're going to give away free stuff. We're going to talk about what's going on now. We're going to talk about what's coming up. We're going to answer your questions live during the show. We're going to give lots of stuff away, show you photos, and we're going to talk about fishing. Inshore, nearshore, and offshore. Hopefully you're ready for another great Off the Hook with Captain Hubbard live stream show. It's Sunday night. It's 7:30 p.m. on March 12th, and we're live for the Sunday night live stream show every Sunday night right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Trovo pages. Plus, we're also simultaneously streaming to multiple Facebook pages as well. Appreciate y'all tuning in, hanging out, and joining us. Don't forget, if you really like fishing, if you care at all, you're going to like, comment, and share this stream. I know it. I know you. So make sure you like, comment, and share. Comment where you're watching from. Give the video a thumbs up or a like or a double tap or whatever social media you're on. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Trovo, Twitch, TikTok, all that good stuff. We do all the different social medias. If it's a social media, we have an account, and you should follow us. Also, want to give a shout out to our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. And really appreciate our friends over at Gator Jim's. Make sure, and all our friends that are scrolling by us on this TV here, Sign Zoo, Yamaha, Salt Strong, all our good friends that help us out and make Hubbard's Marina what it is. But Hubbard's Marina wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for our Hubbard's Marina family of captains, crews, staff members, working so hard to make it possible, but also viewers like you, our fishing family. Appreciate you all for watching and tuning in and hanging out, especially those of you who are sending stars and our supporters. Extra big shout out and love to you guys for really fueling our live show and making it possible. Stephen Batchelor, Yukimi Barker, Richard Blazak, Larry White, Sam Lang, Jim Evans, even though Jim Evans brings bad weather every time he comes into town, Scott Flynn, and then Mike Hart with the big 1,000 stars. Appreciate you, Mike. Thank you guys all for the stars. Thank you to all our supporters out there. The supporters really make the world go round for us. It's $4.99 a month. You get private access to our private supporters group. You also get access to that supporters only after show. Really appreciate all the supporters watching as well. So with that, let's get into how you win free stuff. You want to win some free stuff tonight? Do you like free stuff? Hopefully, I like free stuff. Everybody likes free stuff, right? The way you win free stuff is commenting. You got to comment one time, anything you want on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. That's how you're eligible to win. So make sure you comment at least one time. Also, want to make sure we give a moment of silence, a moment of recognition to our great friend, longtime guest, Hubbard's Marina family member, Bob Harbison, who has unfortunately passed away last night, really this morning, early morning. So Bob Harbison has unfortunately passed away. He was the great man behind all our YouTube videos from our long-range trips, and he's left a big hole in our hearts, a big hole in our Hubbard's Marina family, and definitely a big hole in our team. So take a minute and pour one out for old Bob. He's definitely looking down on us, watching the show, and enjoying this time with us here, I know, from up in heaven. So rest in peace, Bob Harbison, and this show is dedicated to our friend Bob. Then, without further ado, let's get into some photos. Show you guys what we're catching. I know Bob would love that. It was his favorite part of the show. So let's get right into the photos and show you guys what's going on inshore, nearshore, and offshore. Right now, inshore still continues a great bite on the Jack Crevalle. We're seeing the Jack Crevalle all around the area, especially early morning, late afternoon, but as you can see here, even midday, you're catching those Jack Crevalle. A lot of active Jack Crevalle right now. The redfish bite has been going well. We're seeing redfish around the areas. They've poured out of the canals, off the docks. They're active all around the area right now. We're seeing more and more redfish action. Really, any size fish around those mangrove shorelines, those grass flats, the oyster bars, a lot of different areas you can find those good eating redfish, or good catching redfish, and they are good to eat too, but they have a small slot on them. Most people catch and release them, but just the old Freudian slip there, because I like eating redfish. Nice big sheep's head around. Look at the sheep's head on that. That's a big sheep's head. Big old backcountry sheep's head. This is what they look like more often. That's funny, the coloration difference. So that's more closer to the mouth of Tampa Bay, and that's in the back bay. Color patterns. It's funny, people don't realize fish are a lot like chameleons. They can really change their color pattern based on their surroundings, based on the water quality, water temperature, water clarity. They really can kind of transform to match their surroundings. Nice snook there. A lot of nice snook action going on. The snook have really poured out of the back bays, getting more into that springtime pattern. This is Snookzilla. Our good buddy George Layton caught a snook of a lifetime. I'm going to go full screen, get rid of myself. Oh, I meant this full screen. That is a crazy snook. Absolutely insane fish. Our good buddy George caught that on a soft plastic paddle tail. Look at this. Imagine throwing this little tiny soft plastic. I mean, it's a pretty big one, but it's not like one of those hoggy, like 9-inch soft plastics. It's a meaty soft plastic, but not crazy, right? And tossing this along a mangrove shoreline and getting crushed. When I saw this photo, I was like, why is he posting this photo in the Tampa Bay region? I thought for sure he had gone down to Costa Rica and got one of those Costa Rica river snook. But nope, that's right here, local Tampa Bay caught monster 45-inch snook. Beautiful fish by our good buddy George Layton in the Salt Strong community. So our good friend Dylan catching and releasing some nice tarpon in the back bay. The tarpon are starting to show up more and more. Really a good number of tarpon in Boca Grande. The bad water kind of scared them out momentarily, but they showed back up. So they're not far away from Tampa Bay, getting in here more heavily. Triple tail started to show up too, more active. We're seeing triple tail sprinkled into the area. Still some big trout around like it's winter time, but the trout are starting to thin out a little bit as water warms up. So great time to get out there inshore and capitalize and get after some of those good eating fish, and fun to catch fish, fun to target fish. So really, I would say inshore right now, my focus would still be the sheep's head. They're starting to thin out. They're starting to get harder to target. So sheep's head would be a great opportunity to kind of target them before they spread out too much and get away from you. Snook are on the move. Redfish are on the move. So great time to target them as well. Let's see here. Joe Colbeck, appreciate those stars. Louis Canaveri, Russell James, Philip Cavanaugh, appreciate all those stars, guys. And especially Adam Franklin with 400. And then who else do we have? Tim Dykes with a big 600. Appreciate you, Tim and Adam. Thank you so much, guys. Let's get into some nearshore photos and show you guys what we're seeing near shore as well. Nice gag grouper. We're catching and releasing on our Flying Hub 2 and on the hub, working hard to keep those fish alive and ready to fight another day. Seeing some solid hogfish still, 10-hour all day, 5-hour half day, 10-hour today. Caught some nice hogfish. We also caught some hogfish on the half day as well. Our good friend Dan the Fishman got himself a nice kingfish on the jig. We're catching kingfish. Kingfish and mackerel are back in town for spring break. So the kingfish and mackerel are here. We're seeing nice big lane snapper near shore as well. Mangrove snapper fishing is going well near shore. 5-hour half days are seeing a few of them, but really 10-hour all days. The nearshore private charters are the best way to target those mangrove snapper, but we're seeing good size mangrove snapper, even as shallow as 60, 70, 80 foot of water near shore. So really, really great time to get out there near shore and target hogfish, lanes, mangroves, mackerel, and kingfish are back. Offshore, doing well on some nice red grouper, finding the mangrove snapper, big vermilions, porgies, almacos. And this right here is our biggest red grouper of recent past, 20.9 pounds. Absolute stud of a red grouper caught by the woman right there above my head. Her name is Estelle. Absolutely beautiful fish. Nice red grouper from the Flying Hub 2 as well. The Flying Hub 2, the 39 hours, we're seeing nice fish across the board. So great time offshore for red grouper, mangroves, vermilions, porgies, almacos, tuna, kingfish, wahoo. We even saw a couple sailfish this past week. Near shore, hogfish, lanes, mangroves, a couple red grouper as well. If you want to target red grouper, go offshore, Flying Up 2, 39 hour. If you want to do a hogfish, lanes, do a 10-hour trip. Half days, getting a lot of good heads and tails, and we're seeing those mackerel, and we're also seeing a few of the kingfish. Remember, if you want to troll, you're trolling on the ride out during a 5-hour half day, 39-hour, 44-hour. We're typically moving a little too slow or a little too fast to troll on the 10-hour and 10-hour and 12-hour. With that, we talked a little bit about inshore, a little bit about nearshore. We're going to get to the weather next, but we got our inshore guru, Capt. Mike Anderson, on the line. How are you doing, buddy?
Guru. Wow, that's cool. I'm a guru.
Yeah, I stole that from you.
Yeah, I like it. You're more than welcome to use it, my friend.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So how are you, man? How's the inshore bite?
You know what? Last week was really good.
Nice.
Which is really kind of weird to me because it's probably my least favorite week of the month to fish. Backside of the full moon is usually a little bit of a struggle. Most of the week, I found it to be really, really good. Friday was a little weird. The bite was good until about 10 a.m. for me, and then it just kind of shut off. Like somebody hit a light switch. Like we caught a pile of fish, in the first 2 hours, and then boop, they just kind of shut down. We caught a couple fish after that, and that was it. So that was a little weird, but the week in general was good. Snook, redfish, some trout, some mackerel, some ladyfish, some jacks. So it was pretty good. Bait was good.
Nice.
Didn't have any problems with any bad water, which was kind of a blessing. So
we've been really blessed.
I think things will be interesting moving forward with some of this weather that I'm sure you just reported on. As it gets colder, the backside of this front's going to probably slow things down a little bit. But I'm okay with that because we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. I think a good, strong cold front or two would help us here. Kind of drag this spring out a little bit. So, I'm actually okay with this weather coming our way.
You're okay with it cooling back down a little bit?
Yeah, we need it. I think water temp at 80 degrees, mid-March, just pretty high, especially with the water quality issues we're having and all that. So it's just a little sporty for me. If it would, a cold front or two, a week or two here, some colder weather kind of drag this thing into April a little bit, I think it's beneficial for the bite in general.
Yes. Yeah, and Mike likes to be cold, guys. If it starts getting hot too early, he gets cranky.
Yeah,
no one wants that.
I'm a big tarpon fisherman. I love tarpon season.
Yep.
And if that water temp gets warm too early, all the bait shows up too early, the tarpon show up early, they tend to go offshore and spawn earlier.
Yeah, they get out.
Sometimes you get some of those fish back for, late season tarpon fishing, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, and we see the same thing with kingfish and mackerel too. Same problem.
Right, exactly. And I like a little bit of kingfishing to drag into April a little bit as some of those winds. March is a windy month.
Yeah. And
it gets tough for us inshore guys to get out there and chase those kingfish around in rough conditions. So I like it to drag into April just a little bit so we can have some nice days where we can get out there and, we can share in that fun as well.
You lost me. You had me. We were on the same page until that happened. You guys with the bay boats can stay in the bay. I'm just kidding.
Well, we're pretty much still in the bay. I mean, we're all, everything I do is like 3 to 5 miles.
Yeah, our definitions of near shore are vastly different. Yeah,
right, 100%. So that's what I said. We're just fishing off the beach in your world. So
yeah, if you can see people on the beach, you're fishing the beach.
Right, exactly. We're more near shore beach fishing.
Yeah, and the mackerel are stacked on the beach, man. We had a 5-hour hub trip the other day during that rough weather there Saturday and Friday afternoon with that cold front. And it was a weak front, but it blew up weather more than they called for. And we sat right on the beach 5 hours trolling, smacking nice mackerel. Ended up getting into some shark action. No kingfish on the beach yet, but there's kingfish right there, like 10, 12, 15 miles. We're starting to strike the kingfish, and the big ones are hanging 20, 30, 40 miles. So the kingfish aren't far away from coming on the beach too.
No, I wouldn't think so. With the way the sardines are showing up on the beach, I would think that we're not far off from this kingfish thing going crazy. So again, a little bit of cold weather is going to kind of slow that down a little bit, and I'm okay with that. So
yeah, prolong the spring. I like the we talked about it before too. The transition period, right, where you've got that wintertime pattern kind of hanging out still, and you got the summertime pattern already setting up. I guess what you could call springtime pattern is one of my favorite times, that transition from winter to summer and that transition from summer to winter, both like March, April-ish into May-ish, and then September, late September, early October-ish. Because it all depends on the weather, right? And I think that's what 100%. We're talking about. The weather getting warm too early, too fast, kind of kills it, slows, or doesn't prolong it. And that's what we're talking about, trying to get it prolonged with another good cold front or two. And it seems we're going to get our wish this week, man.
It seems like it. Like I said, we'll see what, again, with these cold fronts coming, it should drag things out a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, hopefully we talked about it with Scott Moore on the radio today a little bit. Maybe this, red tide, they saw some over at, Anna Maria that was pretty harsh, but it seemed to be a quick burn, according to Scott. And things have cleared up a little bit again. So, let's hope for the best with some of the south wind and southwest winds and west winds we've been having. Hopefully, that stays at bay and we can enjoy some good fishing here going forward.
Yeah, we've been really blessed in Tampa Bay in general. I mean, this red tide started after Hurricane Ian, and it festered down south for a long time before it made its way slowly north, and it finally jumped up to Pinellas County, but it was really only noticeable around Johns Pass for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. For the most part, we've been really blessed. I mean, we're keeping pinfish alive at the dock in our bait wells for going on almost 2 weeks now, so knock on wood, keeping our fingers crossed and saying a prayer that continues, because it's definitely not at Hubbard's Marina or around Johns Pass, which is nice.
That's a good thing, my friend. That's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So fishing's good. It should be a good week. Tides will slow down a little bit as we get later into the week, but that's okay too. As long as that water's moving, you should be able to catch them. There's a lot of fish being caught. So the inshore bite's pretty solid across the board. Fort DeSoto's still a little slow, but I think that has to do more with water movement issues that we're having at Fort DeSoto because of some of the new sandbars and things that have built up around Bunce's Pass.
Yeah.
So, again, we're having some good mackerel bites, some good trout bites, some good redfish and snook bites. So, spring's upon us. Should be an interesting week moving forward with this weather coming in.
It'll be interesting, too, to see if those snooks stack back up in Fort DeSoto this summer. Definitely interesting how Bunce's Pass and Irma Pass will kind of play out with all that different water flow like you're talking about. But it seems like those snook are already starting to make their way back to the beaches. We had some stacked around the dock this morning, and it's exciting. I'm excited. It's on that doorstep of summertime snook fishing.
Yeah, I think it's a slow transition. I think we start to see fish at the beach, and we think, oh, the snook are out already. Well, some of them are out. Yeah. There's still a lot of fish up the rivers yet, and a lot of fish that haven't pushed all the way out, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So, those are the things that kind of protect our fishery. Yeah. Those fish that rush out there to the beach real quick, maybe get caught in some of that red tide, we lose them. That's unfortunate, but there's more fish still up the rivers, things like that we'll still get to play with for the next 2 months before everything focuses on our summertime bite out there at the passes and on the beach. So it's a slow.
In this red tide so far, in Pinellas County at least, so far, I haven't seen game fish killed at all. The only thing I've seen is a couple pinfish and a couple mullet and catfish. Like that first wave, it always seems like it gets the pinfish first, then it gets the catfish, mullet, the eels, and then you start to see the trout, and then you start to see the snook and redfish and stuff like that. And I have not seen it get to a crescendo where we see bigger fish in the food web really affected by the red tide. And like I said, it was only really around us for about a week and a half. So I'm hoping and praying that stays the same. And like you said, we have all that nasty weather this week, so hopefully it'll continue to break it up for us.
Yeah, hopefully it'll give us a little reprieve, and that stuff will get out of here. So, here's to hoping. We don't need any more quality game fish kills for sure.
Amen to that. Well, I appreciate your time, buddy. As always, thanks for giving us a shout, and I'll see you Saturday.
Keep up the good work, my brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thanks, man.
See you, pal.
Always a pleasure chatting with our good buddy, Capt Mike. They're gone. Always a pleasure chatting with our good friend, Capt Mike, about some inshore fishing fun. Remember, if you have a question you want answered live during the show, you have to text us at this phone number right here. If you drop a question in the chat, we don't get to see it. It goes really, really, really fast, so we don't get to see your questions if you just drop them straight into the chat. We do have to get into the weather here very shortly, but before we get into the weather, we're going to do our first giveaway of the night. But before we do that even, I want to give a shout out to our friend Russell James and Adam Franklin with 400 stars. Thank you so much, Adam and Russell. Appreciate your stars. Philip Kavanaugh with the big 1,200 stars. Thank you so much, Philip. We appreciate you, dog. Richard Fonzo, Eric Seberg. Appreciate you guys as well. Eric Seberg with 500. Thank you guys for the support. So with that, let's get into some weather. Oh, before we do weather, we got to give away a free trip. So we got a swag pack to give away, a 5-hour half day to give away, and a 10-hour all day to give away. And, of course, our 39-hour trip, too. So let's see, what should we give away first tonight? Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's give away the 10-hour all day first. So we're going to give away the 10-hour all day for 2 guests first tonight. Remember, if you're picked as the lucky winner, you have to text us at the phone number at the bottom of the screen within 5 minutes or less to prove you're watching live. So let's see who the lucky winner is. Eric Seberg. Congratulations, my man. Big winner of the 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Eric, remember, you got 5 minutes or less to claim that by texting us your full home address on the screen, Eric. And if you want a chance to win our 5-hour half day for 2 guests, the swag pack, or the 39-hour, make sure you comment, like, and share the stream for us. We'd appreciate it. Now, with that, let's get into some weather, show you guys a little bit what's going on with the weather, and then from there, we're going to get into your questions. And if you have a question, text it to us on the phone number on the screen. So weather. So we talked a little bit about the weather with Capt Mike and mentioned how the weather is going to get a little nautical. So let's show you what we mean. So we're going to start inshore, show you guys the weather. You can tell just by looking at a glance, if you've been watching the show for a while, you know these light greens, light teals, and yellows are not good. That means high winds. So that kicked up this afternoon. Tomorrow is going to be blowing, going to be rainy, going to be nautical. So we canceled trips tomorrow. This is prefrontal activity, winds blowing out of the west. Then right about 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, cold front comes through, wind shifts out of the north. Tuesday, wind is out of the north all day. Cold front settled in. Strong weather all day Tuesday. Remember, this is inshore forecast showing 4 foot Tuesday morning. Wednesday, weather still out of the north. Starts to slowly shift out of the east a little bit, northeast. Still blowing a lot, finally calming down a little bit. Thursday, wind finally shifts out of the east. High pressure settles in. Wind picks up a little bit, but it's out of the east, so it calms down. Thursday really looks like the best day. Wednesday afternoon-ish, but really I would say Thursday is your best day, best opportunity. But even that isn't perfect because it's high pressure settling in right behind a real strong cold front. So Thursday's the best day in the next 5 to go fishing, but it's not the greatest day. Friday picks right back up, winds howling again, right out of the south, and then boom, Saturday, rain, even stronger wind. Then it switches out of the north, big, massive cold front Saturday night into Sunday. So rainy, windy, nasty tomorrow, Monday. Cold, north wind Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, doable. Friday, right out of the south, blowing a gale. Saturday, really, really, really windy, rainy, and then switching back to a cold north wind Saturday night, Sunday, and into Monday. And then look at that, Tuesday. Now they're forecasting Tuesday. The same thing. This is a south wind before another front. So they're forecasting a cold front. Dang. They're forecasting a cold front Monday night. Then again Saturday night. And then it looks like probably Tuesday night, Wednesday night. So we get no reprieve from the weather, really. But that could change. It's still early. And then also at the same time, the only upside to this that I'm trying to focus on, silver linings, is we could still catch mackerel and kingfish along the beach. We'll be able to sneak out the half-day trips, catch those hogfish. The cold fronts will keep the hogfish chewing. It'll reconcentrate the hogfish that have been spreading out on us. So the hogfish bite will get better. The kingfish and mackerel will stay longer, and it should hopefully help us breaking up any sort of leftover bad water issues. So hopefully that's the upside to this long stretch of bad weather ahead of us, at least forecasted now. But remember, this time of year, weather can change quickly. Everything that we just talked about could really change, except for like the next 48 to 72 hours, which stays pretty consistent. Outside of that, weather can change really drastically, really quickly, especially this time of year. Spring is kind of known for that. Really, Florida in general is known for that. Next thing we want to get into before we get into your questions is making sure we announce some events and some goings-ons. First event we want to talk about is Final Friday. If you haven't been to a Final Friday yet, you are sincerely missing out. Do you like hundreds of free beers? Do you like hundreds of pounds of free seafood? Do you like hanging out and having a good time and listening to music? Come join us at Final Friday, March 31st, 6 to 9 p.m. It's going to be a blast. Be there or be square. Every last Friday of the month, we do free food, free beer, and have a great time. It's totally free, and it's our gift to you for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family. So come out and take part, take advantage, and enjoy Final Fridays with us every last Friday of the month. Then also, don't forget as well, we've got Bass Pro Shops, our Bass Pro Shops fishing conversation 1 week from today. So this very next weekend, Sunday the 19th, 2 p.m., we'll be at Tampa Bass Pro Shops talking fishing, having a grand time, and hanging out. So hopefully we'll see you there. And then March 28th, from 6 to 8 p.m., we'll be at Bartow Ford eating some Cuban sandwiches and enjoying some deviled crab and stuffed potatoes from Silver Ring Cafe. We'll be giving away Engel coolers, Bull Bay rods, and reel animals, and Hubbard's Marina swag, and Captain Scott Moore, the legendary Captain Scott Moore, who literally wrote a book about snook fishing in Tampa Bay, will be there doing a seminar. I have never had the opportunity to hear him speak since I was a little kid. And I remember watching Captain Scott Moore when I was like 12, 13 years old, thinking like, I want to do that one day. I want to be up there on the back deck of a boat giving a seminar at a Florida Sportsman show. And I did. It was really cool. But I remember seeing him doing that and thinking, I want to be like that guy one day. And I have a long way to go to get anything like Captain Scott Moore. But it's pretty cool. He's a great speaker. He knows more about, or he's forgotten more about fishing than most people know, including myself when it comes to inshore fishing. So it'll be a really good time. So hopefully we'll see you Tuesday night, March 28th, 6 to 8 p.m. Then the other thing we want to talk about is Visit St. Pete Clearwater is doing a vote for Best of Tampa Bay. Josh has got it queued up here. So vote for the Best of St. Pete Clearwater. You can vote for the best beach. And if you don't see the beach you want to vote for, you can write in your own nominee. I would suggest writing in Hubbard's Beach, even though I hate it and I hate the sand. You can still write in your own nomination for Hubbard's Beach. Best beach bar, I would write in Hubbard's Marina Sunset Cruise. Best charter boat, you have Hubbard's Marina Fishing already as a nominee. You don't have to, I'm going to vote for it while we're here. You don't have to write in your own nominee there, but best water excursion, snorkeling at Egmont Key, which is one of our options. But you can also write in your own nominee, like Hubbard's Marina Dolphin Watching. Best hotel, you could write in John's Pass Hotel here if you wanted. There's lots of different things you can vote for. Things to do, I wrote in Final Friday because it's the best, John's Pass Final Friday. Best live music venue, John's Pass Bell Tower was what I wrote in. But you get my drift. You're catching what I'm putting on. Best shopping, I wrote in John's Pass Shops. So you can write in your own nominations. You can write in everything. You can vote once a day. So every day you can go to this link and vote for your best dog hangout, your best family activity, Hubbard's Marina Dolphin Watch. You can write that one in. But we actually you are able to vote for best charter boat, which we're already listed for. So I'm going to go back to the main page so you don't have to watch me scroll. But there's a lot of things you can vote for, and if you don't vote for it, then or if you don't see something you want to vote for, you can always write it in, make up your own submission. So check it out. Josh put the link into the chat. Make sure you save it, bookmark it, and write in your vote or vote every day for us. Voting closes March 23rd, so you have 11 days. 11 days you have to vote once per day. We appreciate it. What's funny is every year the dinner boats have this big competition. I think they must make all their guests, like when they get on the boat, pull out your phones and vote for us, because every year a dinner boat wins best charter boat. It's like, why would a dinner boat win best charter boat? So I don't know how they're doing it, but this year I'd like to take that category. It'd be fun. So let's see if we can do it. Let's see if you can help us win best charter boat in Tampa Bay area. And hopefully USA Today will release top 10 boat tours voting. I haven't seen that yet. I Googled it yesterday because I was curious, and it's not open yet. But yeah, May 2nd is when they announce the winners, but I think voting opened like mid-March-ish because I remember we had to wait like a month before we found out if we won. So best boat tour in the world voting is coming out soon, and we'll definitely need your help voting there because I want to be the #1 boat tour in the world this year. I know we can do it with your help. So we talked about the voting. We talked about what's going on and coming up in our events. It is time to get into your questions. Before we get into the questions, though, let's give away another free thing. Let's do the swag pack. Let's give away the Hubbard's Marina swag pack. This is a free shirt, a free hat, and a free Hubbard's Marina sticker. If you're picked as the lucky winner, you not only got to give us your home address within 5 minutes, but you also have to let us know what shirt size you would like. So send us your home address and your shirt size if you're picked as the lucky winner of the Hubbard's Marina swag pack. Let's see who the lucky winner is. Holly Kelly. Congratulations, Holly Kelly. That's awesome. From Kentucky. So shoot us your home address and what size shirt you would like, and we'll get that in the mail to you. We still got a 5-hour half day for 2 and that 39-hour trip to give away as well. So we still got more stuff to give away. Let's see what our first question of the night is. Do you do final Fridays through the summer? Hopefully when we come down, we can do that too. Yes, we are planning to do final Fridays through the summer. Last year, they stopped doing final Fridays June, July, August, and September. You guys know me. We do a live show every Sunday night. And why? Why do I always say, what do I always say, Josh? Consistency. Consistency. That's the king. So final Friday every month. You can guarantee that. The reason they didn't do final Friday in the summertime is they were worried about it being too hot. Well, it's Florida. It's always hot. And second of all, they were worried about summertime rains because it rains almost every afternoon in Florida. However, what they didn't know and what they weren't counting on is Hubbard's Marina. Our location is built for Final Friday in the summer because what do we have? We have coverage. So even if it's pouring down rain, it'll push everybody to our Final Friday party. We'll be cooking crawfish and chowing down, perfectly protected from the rain. So during the summer, our Final Friday setup will be against the wall just in case it does rain. So we'll switch up Final Friday's layout a little bit, but yes, we are planning to do Final Friday all year, every Final Friday, every last Friday of each month. All right, so next question. We're skipping the Hellman's Mayo question because we're not getting into Mayo Wars. We'll save that for the after show. Why are you allowed to only keep 2 African Pompano on the 39-hour trip? I thought you would get a 2-day bag limit. That's a great question. There is no reason we should have a limit of African Pompano. I've been working on that for about 7 years. If you go to any other state, anywhere, you can catch as many African Pompano as you want. They're not federally managed. It's not a federally managed species. They have no FMP. There's no science behind it. The reason you can only catch 2 per boat is because it's not a reef fish or coastal migratory pelagic fish. It's not in the FMP or fishery management plan. So as a 2-day trip, we're allowed a 2-day bag limit of fish in the reef fish FMP. So grouper, snapper, all that, we have a 2-day bag limit. Because of that rule, applies to reef fish FMP. Does not apply to fish that aren't federally managed. So we don't have the right to have a 2-day bag limit of African Pompano. But they're not federally managed, so we should be able to catch 100 pounds of each fish per person, per day. So you should be able to catch 200 pounds of African Pompano per person on a 39-hour trip. But FWC came out with the Bonefish Tarpon Trust back in like the 90s, fighting for bonefish, tarpon, and pompano, and permit. And so they got really, really uppity about Florida pompano and permit and protecting Florida pompano and permit, which needs protection. But they wrapped in the whole pompano family, so they threw African pompano in there, which should never have been included, because why does a state management body that manage state waters out to 9 miles manage African pompano that you would never, ever, ever, ever find inside state waters, because these are 120 foot of water or deeper. And they have no science to back up the reason that they have management or a bag limit on them. So we've been really trying to get them to change that. But the reason you're only allowed 2 African Pompano per boat, regardless of the length of trip, is FWC has taken it upon themselves to enact a state regulation. When the FWC enacts a state regulation and there's no federal regulation for that fish, they can choose to extend their state waters regulation into federal waters adjacent to the state of Florida. So if I leave the state of Florida and go fish Texas, I can only catch 2 African Pompano if I plan to come back to the state of Florida and land those fish. If I leave the state of Florida and go across the Gulf and land in Texas and offload fish, I can catch 7,000 pounds of African pompano and keep them all. Pretty crazy, right? So African pompano, blackfin tuna, and flounder are 3 fish that are not federally managed that the state of Florida has taken it upon themselves to take their FWC regulations and extend them into federal waters. So, frustrating. There's a very short story of why you can only keep 2 per boat, but something we're working on fixing. Should be 1 per person, in my opinion. That way, we're still limiting it. There's no reason to kill 400 of them, but should be 1 per person. Makes a lot more sense. When do you expect hogfish bite to slow down? When the water warms up. We saw it already. The last 2 weeks, water started to warm up. It was getting into the mid-70s. Hogfish bite started to slow down. They started to spread out. This cold front, all that bad weather we just looked at, it's going to scare all those hogfish back to the ledges. It's going to concentrate them once again, and it's going to make them easier to catch with hook and line once again as well. So when does the hogfish bite slow down is 100% tied to weather and water temperature, in my opinion. So when will the weather stop being cold is the question, right? I thought we were already into spring, but it was just fake spring, and now it's cooling down again. So now we're back to second winter in Florida. Do you guys have any rod and reel setups other than the normal $20 one? Yes, we have literally anything. I really work hard in our tackle shop to have the $20, $30, $40 setups, the $70, $80, $120 setups, and then the $200, $300, $400, $500 setups, and even $1,200 setups if you want to get real fancy. So we try to have a little bit of everything. We have a very small tackle shop, but it's really, really full. We got 10 pounds in a 5-pound box for sure. So stop by, chat with me. I'll point out what we got and kind of walk through some of the options. But Josh here has our online store pulled up. Remember, we do have an online store, so you can look at what we have in our shop online as well. We have even more options in store as well. Not everything is listed on the website yet, but we're still working through a lot of that as well. So lots of options for you, lots of ways to browse as well. We don't ship rods and reels though, so you can't buy a rod and reel and have it shipped to your house. African pompano is a sport fish? Nope, it is not. But it is just an unmanaged fish that the FWC likes to try to manage in federal waters where it has no jurisdiction, nor should it be managing. Tell me how you really feel, Dylan. I'm from Miami. How's the mangrove snapper fishing on the 12-hour Friday night trips? The last Friday night trip actually did pretty darn well. I was literally getting texted a minute ago, all these photos from the Friday night trip. Takes the crew a while to text in photos sometimes, but looking at some solid mangroves. They caught one on the Friday night trip that was 9.5 pounds. It looks like a monster, but that's just because Mike Baker's holding it, so it looks extra big. but it definitely looks like they caught some nice fish. We can pull up here the catch report. The mangrove snapper bite on the 39-hour has been a little hit and miss. There's been trips where they were a little bit tricky. This most recent 39-hour, though, they did pretty well. They just had to kind of work for it and definitely made it a little bit trickier. Let's see here if I can pull up this report. Of course. Oh, Mike Baker is still watching the show. He's very defensive. Trying to throw stones in the glass house. They can't hear you text me, Mike, so it's a one-sided conversation, bud. Unfortunately, I don't see the catch report filed yet for the 12-hour night snapper, but hopefully we'll get that one up there soon, and we'll be able to update you specifically. But they did a pretty good job on that 12-hour night snapper. They had a pretty decent catch, so hopefully we continue to see good numbers of those 12-hour night mangrove snapper trips. Great option for sure. and always a good opportunity to get out there on the water and spend some time at night targeting those mangroves, and you're still home for breakfast the next morning. What's the best time to catch you by the marina? I get to the marina about 6 a.m., and I leave about 3 to 4 p.m. Most of the time, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., except for Wednesdays. It's kind of my sacred family day. At least I try to make it somewhat sacred for the family. And then Saturday, I do the radio shows and a lot of events. So I'm kind of hit or miss on Saturdays. But Sunday to Tuesday, and then Thursday and Friday, always there, 6 a.m. to about 4 p.m., 93% of the time. How much mayo is too much mayo when you're cooking fish? So that is in relation to our Hubbard's Marina secret family recipe. If you go to our website and click fishing trips, scroll down to fishing video links, and then hit fishing tips or tricks. If you scroll in here, we have a section on nearshore and offshore tips with a bunch of videos. We have some rigging tips, like how to rig different things, how to hook different baits. We have general tips, and in the general tips, we have a video here about our secret Hubbard's Marina family recipe that we did with Fox 13. We shared our family recipe, which is pretty simple. It's only Hellman's mayo. So I tried to avoid the mayonnaise war, but here it is. My grandmother, God rest her soul, made it very clear. The Hubbard's Marina family recipe, only Hellman's mayo. If you don't use Hellman's mayo, you shouldn't even try it. You shouldn't even bother, because there's no other mayo on the market. That was very clear. It was in the will. So Hellman's mayo, super important. But you take your fish, you fillet it. You can leave the skin on if you want. I like the skin on. I like the flavor. I like eating the skin, but I'm a weirdo. So I scale it and leave the skin on. Or you can take the skin off. Then you lightly rinse your fish at the fillet table. When you're ready to cook, take it out of the bag, give it a better rinse, pat dry with a paper towel until it's pretty much dry. Give it a light coat of mayonnaise, And then once you get a light coat, just enough mayonnaise to coat the fish, the reason you use mayonnaise is twofold. It is made of just straight fat. It's disgusting. And mayonnaise, what it does is it allows the seasoning to stick. So once you coat it in a light coat of mayonnaise, salt, pepper, garlic powder, garlic salt, onion powder, and then I like to hit it with like some, and what's that called? Now I'm gonna Everglades seasoning. That's really, really, really good. And then, or like blackened season, Tony Cacciatiri's heifer dust, another great seasoning company. That's my friend Troy Frady in Orange Beach, Alabama. He's a charter captain, and he also on the side has a seasoning company. It's called Heifer Dust. It's really good. So really, really cool options for seasoning. But basically, the mayonnaise holds the seasoning on the fillet of fish. Then you get your grill really, really hot. Set your fish down on one side and let it cook for just a short amount of time, just to start getting that fish a little bit more translucent, or not translucent. Once that fish starts to turn a little white and it's harder to see through the fillet, like it's just starting to cook, flip it. If you let it sit too long on one side, it'll cook, and when you go to flip it, it'll fall apart, fall through the grill grate. It'll be a mess. The trick is really hot grill, put it one side down. As soon as it starts to cook a little bit, like 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, a minute and a half, flip it early. That way it doesn't fall apart when you flip it. And then let it cook on that second side. And then once you feel like it's cooked well enough, then you take it off the grill. I like my fish like a medium rare. Definitely not well done. And the reason, opaque, thank you, Amy. That was the word I was looking for and couldn't think of it. The reason you use the mayonnaise Hellman's mayonnaise is to hold the seasoning, but also when you cook it on a really, really hot grill, all that fat sears in and makes the edges crispy, so you get a little bit more of a crispy edge, and it seals in the moisture. It really kind of encapsulates the fish. So really, really, really good way of cooking fish, in my opinion. That same recipe, that same description can also be used in your broiler. If you're not a griller, if you don't like grilling, Hellman's mayonnaise, the seasoning, put it on a broiling pan at 500 degrees in your oven for 3 minutes, and it's done. You can also, if you are worried about undercooking or overcooking your fish, take a slice of onions, put it in there with the fish, and when the onions become translucent, no longer opaque, you can you know your fish is done. Mayonnaise or a slice of onion cooks at the same speed as a thing of fish. So really, really good options. Yes, mayonnaise on both sides because you want seasoning on both sides, right? So Hellman's mayonnaise, really important. All right, let's see what other questions do we have here. A lot of people saying Dukes and Miracle Whip in the comments. We're just going to ignore your ignorance. Can we see Mikey falling into the water? Splash. Michael Splash Baker falling in the water is readily available, but I feel like we shouldn't pull that one out. We have a whole best of security cameras folder that's readily available. It's on the cloud, so we can access it anywhere. And Michael Splash Baker's fall into the water is definitely at the top of that list. But we also have some other ones too. So we need to make a best of compilation highlight video here soon, like the woman pooping on the boardwalk, the kids throwing the brochures in the air, Captain Jack falling off the front of the boat when Jason Porton was learning how to pull in the dolphin boat, Splash falling in the water. There's a lot of good ones. Let's see. Yeah, at our Christmas party, but we also got to put them on our YouTube channel. Can I book for March? Yeah, you can book online or over the phone. It's up to you. Let's see what other questions we have. Do you have a Facebook Live questions only to win the drawing? What? Oh, you have to, yes. In order to have a chance at winning the drawing, you do have to comment at least one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook Live stream, for sure. Can you cook the fish with Hellman's mayonnaise on the Blackstone? Probably. I just recently found out what a Blackstone was in Thanksgiving. I went to a friend's home and they had a Blackstone. I was like, what is this? This is awesome. I cooked like 4 pounds of bacon in like 15 seconds. It was crazy. And I immediately bought one because I love grilling. So I'm confident you could use that same recipe on the Blackstone. You would just want to get it really, really hot first. And then probably wouldn't bother oiling it too much because that Blackstone, that mayonnaise, Hellman's mayonnaise, would sear nicely on the Blackstone. Now I got to go home and try that. It's been a while since I messed around on the Blackstone, but someone sent us a picture of a whole fish. I love whole fish. My dad used to do that all the time. We'd broil a whole fish or grill a whole fish. Very, very good enjoyment. I love some whole fish cooked as well. Scale it, gut it. Some people take the eyeballs out, but I eat the eyeballs. They're pretty good. Let's see what other questions do we... Actually, before we do another question, let's give away our 5-hour half day. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Let's see who the lucky winner is of that 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Stephen Miller, what's up, man? That's funny. He was just on a 39-hour trip with his dad, and it was funny. He was saying that his buddy keeps winning, and he told his buddy about the live show, so he was mad that he wasn't winning himself. So congrats, man. Glad you won one, buddy. So he got the 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Let's see here. What other questions do we have before we run out of time? You've mentioned a new party boat. Will this be a replacement or an additional boat? The goal is an additional boat. That's the goal. We want to have 3 party boats. My goal is to continue to grow. That's why we've expanded to Don's Dock. Hopefully going to get the sand situation cured, so we'll have more room at our main dock. I want to continue to grow and expand with y'all's help and to continue to offer more trips. Like right now, we're kind of hamstrung. We can't do some of the cool trips that I want to be able to do because we don't have the ability in our schedule. So having a third party boat would open us up to more private charter options. We'd be able to run private charters more cost effectively for folks and offer more private charters. And then we'd also be able to do more 10-hour trips, like 10-hour trips 4 times a week, 5 times a week, maybe Saturday 10-hour trips. So it'll be really, really nice. Plus also allowing us to do more unique long-range trips. So it'll be an addition. Hopefully we'll be able to start that this year. Time will tell. Hopefully red tide doesn't continue forever. Hopefully we don't have, actually we have an El Nino year, so we shouldn't have a bad hurricane season. Things are looking positive outside of the red tide issue. So if we can make it work, we'll hopefully get a party boat going this year. Let's see. The Blackstone is awesome for sure. How do we vote for Hubbard's best world-class boat? We appreciate you. We'll definitely share the link to the Visit St. Pete Clearwater voting again in the comments, and we'll also text it back to the person who sent it to us as well. So definitely lots of ways to vote right now for the Visit St. Pete Clearwater best of, but the best tour boat in the world thing is coming up soon, hopefully. Do you remember listening to Captain Mel? Yes. Captain Mel was the original Saturday morning radio show host. So the radio show that I do now that I'm co-host on with Mike Anderson Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., that was Captain Mel's show. When Captain Mel passed away, Captain Mike Anderson was given the option to run that show and has been doing it for like 12 or 13 years now since Captain Mel passed. And I grew up listening to the Captain Mel show because I would wake up Saturday morning early and my dad would be sitting in the living room on a home phone because we had home phones back then. And it was cordless though. I was born in the early 90s. And so he was listening to the stereo waiting for his turn on the phone to do the radio show with Captain Mel. And I remember Captain Mel's radio show all the time. And it's really cool because as a young kid listening to my dad on the radio, I thought it was so cool. And now I do that show myself. So it's really interesting to have come full circle, and it's a huge blessing for sure. What other questions? What's your favorite ketchup? I don't have a favorite ketchup. I'm not a huge ketchup person. I'm a big hot sauce person. I love spicy food. So I'm not a huge ketchup person. When I was enjoying food more liberally, I did like mixing ketchup and mayonnaise. Getting that like pinkish sauce for French fries, pretty legit. But I have not had a French fry very long time. I'm actually, this morning I was 298 pounds. I started at 345, so I'm down almost 50 pounds. My goal was 290, so I'm going to have to adjust my goal. Did you just do a sound effect?
Maybe. Dick. It was cheering. We're happy for you.
So I haven't had French fries in a long time, but I would say hot sauce is my favorite, and I can't pick a favorite hot sauce. I have Cholula hot sauce for certain foods. I like Frank's Red Hot sauce on virtually everything. Actually, you know what? Probably one of my favorite hot sauces would be Truff hot sauce. Truff hot sauce is incredible, but it is expensive. And there was a moment there that I was buying it way too often. And I was like, this is silly. It's like an 8-ounce bottle, and it's like $30. No, $20. So it's $18 for a 8-ounce bottle. But literally that $17, $18 bottle of hot sauce would last me like 3 meals. it was going a little too fast, so I stopped eating that. And really the best one is the white labeled truff hot sauce, and that's even more expensive. I don't know what the deal is, but they have incredibly good hot sauces, but they're expensive. Yeah, the white label one is $35, and it's like 3 or 4 meals, and it's gone. It's heinous, but it's very good. Highly recommend. It's a splurge. Let's see, what other questions do we have? We got time for one more question. Ketchup, I just don't like it. It's just all sugar. I never really liked ketchup for that reason. Barbecue sauce, which is also all sugar, but I like the Carolina barbecue sauce. So I'm more of a mustard guy, I would say. We're looking for, let's see. How come we don't see any lane snapper on the 39 and 44 hour? It's because we're deep. We're deep out there. And I think, did I mess up my microphone? No. Lane snapper, when I was younger, we only saw them about 80 to about 120 foot. It was a very defined area where you'd find lane snapper in a very defined depth. Over time, they have expanded their range, or spatial expansion. So the area that they live has expanded exponentially, and now we see them as shallow as 20, 30, 40 feet, and we see them as deep as 150 feet. So we are seeing some lane snapper on 39 and 44-hour trips now. It's just not huge numbers of them, but we are definitely seeing more lane snapper moving further from shore every day. As they spatially expand and the population gets stronger and healthier. What's the best fish that you yourself has ever caught? I couldn't answer that question because I think every trip you have your favorite fish, right? Every trip is a new memory. Every time you're out in the water is a new opportunity. I really like catching fish and tricking fish into doing something new and trying different things, and watching other people catch fish is even better, right? Nothing better than taking someone who doesn't know much about fishing, trying to teach them, and then all of a sudden they're out there killing big fish is what I enjoy most, passing it on. So I enjoy watching other people catch big fish, but myself, I would say one of the most memorable lately was, actually it wasn't even that, it was a couple years ago now, but we went down to Costa Rica, and I was fishing the mouth of Crocodile Bay, and we were bait fishing with the Real Animals TV show, and we were sabiki rig fishing blue runners to take them offshore and catch sailfish. And all of a sudden, these fish were chummed up behind the boat. And I'm like, what is that? Big red snapper coming out of the water on the surface, and 120 foot, the mouth of this bay, crashing blue runners on the surface this big. I was like, all right, let's try this. We got to catch one of these. And I ended up dropping back a big blue runner and catching about a 40 to 50 pound cabera snapper. I sight fished a cabera snapper. That was pretty cool. Also that same trip, sight fishing a sailfish, like seeing the sailfish come up to a teaser that didn't have a hook on it, and then hand feeding this sailfish a blue runner on a light tackle rod was super fun. Catching some big hogfish on light tackle here in Central West Florida. Big grouper. Really memorable was when I was a kid. I was 8, 9, 10 years old, 12 years old, going out on 39-hour trips by myself, and just catching as many mangrove snappers as I can and racing the older, more experienced anglers to trying to limit out first. And I would limit out first, or I would limit out early, and then I'd sit inside and slam Mountain Dews, eat candy bars, and watch movies. It was a good time. So I don't know. I think every trip has something memorable, right? So I think that's hard to choose. But good question. And remember, if you're a supporter, join us for the Supporters After Show. We are going to keep it somewhat succinct tonight. Waking up at 3 a.m. this morning, the new 4 a.m., which is really like 3 a.m., was brutal. And getting on the exercise train at 3:30 a.m. this morning, I was not happy. I was a little tired. So I am an hour deficit on sleep, so we're going to keep the Supporters After Show a little bit more succinct tonight. But join us for that Supporters After Show at 8:45. Calvin Brisker, appreciate those stars. Debbie Langford with 530 stars. Don Voigt, appreciate you, man. Eric Seberg with 500 stars. Thank you all for those last-minute stars as well. Also, don't forget, Final Friday, March 31st, March 28th, 6 to 8 p.m., we've got the Bartow Ford event. And then March 19th, a week from today, 2 p.m., we'll be at Tampa Bass Pro Shops. Hopefully we'll see you. I think that was just about everything. Big shout-out to our supporters for making this show possible and making our live show possible. Thank you all for sending stars. Louis Canaveri, appreciate those 500 stars. Appreciate everybody who sent stars tonight, making this live show possible and fueling more live shows. Appreciate you all for being part of our Hubbard's Marina family. We got that 39-hour trip for one guest we're going to give away shortly. Want to give a shout out to our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle. This show is brought to you by Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. Also, don't forget this show is dedicated to our friend Bob Harbison. May he rest in peace. He has left us a big hole on our team and our Hubbard's Marina family and in our hearts. We're going to be celebrating Bob, having a memorial, and laying him to rest, spreading his ashes on an upcoming 39-hour trip. We're excited about that and honored to be a part of that celebration with his family, and going to definitely keep him riding with us on 39-hour trips for generations to come. So, moment of silence and a big shout out to our friend Bob Harbison, who did a lot of those 39-hour YouTube videos for us. Great person for sure. With that, I think that's about it. Let's wrap this show up. Give away our 39-hour trip for one. We'll see all of those supporters at 8:45 for the after show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week and every Sunday night right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, Trovo, Twitch pages for our live stream show. Make sure to follow us. Bring us a friend. If you enjoyed the show, if you got value from the show tonight, tell one other person this week. That's all I ask about the show. Tell them to join us every Sunday night. Just one person. Just one friend. If everybody watching tells one friend, that would help out a lot, immensely. Let's see who won the 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. That winner is Barbara Riggs. Congratulations, Barbara, with a big win on the 39-hour. Remember, you got 5 minutes or less to claim the free trip by texting us your full home address to the phone number on the screen. Appreciate you all for hanging out and joining us. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you soon at Hubbard's Marina. Remember to bring one friend. Tell them about the live show. Make sure to comment and like anything you see Hubbard's Marina posts. And hopefully we'll see you on the water soon. Hopefully we'll see you next weekend at Bass Pro, the 19th at 2 p.m. Hopefully we'll see you the 31st for Final Friday as well. Thanks for watching, y'all.